The movie opens with a scene of pure terror. Kango, without a stitch of clothing on him and soaked in his blood, is running for his life from a frightful figure wearing a rat mask. He can barely keep on his feet, and finally, as strength gives out, he finds himself crawling desperately towards a door. His screams echoing through the silence, but his cries fall on deaf ears as the door remains locked, trapping him in horror. The story then takes us back to happier times when a group of high school friends, Asuka, Kango, Misato, Ryota, Takashi, Saki, and Kanako, would spend countless hours together. We delve into Asuka's thoughts through her diary, where she presents a fascinating story. She pens down a tale of 7 rats, each embodying her and her friends' unique characteristics. In her story, Asuka portrays herself as the first rat, named the Smiling Rat. It dances with joy until one day it abruptly stops and flies into the sky. This portrayal mirrors Asuka's own tragic life. She, who was always smiling, ultimately killing herself by leaping off a building right after a dance performance. The second rat in Asuka's story is called the Timid Rat. It is shy, often hiding its true emotions, just like Kango. The third rat is called a Luck Pusher. It's like Takashi, depicted as wearing spectacles with a big mouth. Then there's the Quiet Rat, the fourth rat, which is as quiet and easygoing as Kanako. The fifth rat, cheerful on the outside but concealing its true emotions, mirrors Misato and is named the Cheerful Rat. The sixth rat is called the Short-Tempered Rat. It represents Ryota, known for his short temper, always quick to react when feeling insecure. Finally, there's the seventh rat, the Little Rat. It embodies Saki, known to steal from others and laugh about it, much like how Saki took Ryota, Asuka's boyfriend, away from her. Our journey continues with a hauntingly beautiful scene of Asuka dancing alone on their school's rooftop, a rat mask lying nearby. Upon the conclusion of her dance, she dons the mask and jumps off the edge of the building, killing herself. Time jumps ahead by 49 days. Kango and Misato meet up, drawn together by an eerie text from Asuka's number. It reads, quote, "Please come to classroom 3B at midnight tonight. I will be waiting, Asuka." The message sent to all 6 of Asuka's friends leaves them in a state of confusion and fear. Who would use a dead person's phone to send such a message? When Misato dares to mention Asuka's name during their conversation, Kango, unable to bear the pain, lashes out at her and storms away, leaving Misato alone with her fears. When the night falls, Kango secretly goes to the school all by himself. A few hours pass and we find Takashi waiting outside the school, his nerves on edge. He's waiting for Ryota and Saki and they finally show up, their scooter's noise breaking the silence. Ryota questions Takashi, asking if he sent the strange text. Takashi strongly denies it. Despite Takashi's protest, Ryota and Saki decide to enter the school. Unable to let his friends go in alone, Takashi follows suit. Once inside, they come across Kanako, who also received the mysterious text. All 4 of them decide to head to classroom 3B and wait for whatever comes next. As they wait, they discuss Asuka's shocking death. The disbelief still raw in their hearts. Saki teases a nervous Takashi, joking that she's Asuka's ghost, making light of the eerie situation. This upsets Ryota, who snaps at them for not taking things seriously. At this point, Kango and Misato are still absent. Saki explains that Misato's parents are strict and wouldn't let her out this late. The classroom clock sounds, marking the arrival of midnight. An eerie music starts to play throughout the school, fear creeping into the hearts of the 4 friends. Suddenly, a woman wearing a rat mask enters the room. It's revealed that this mask was crafted by Asuka. The masked figure takes out a note announcing an attendance. She starts writing the names of those who received the text on the board. Kanako dismisses this as a prank and tries to leave, but the masked figure has other plans. She takes out another note revealing her intention. Quote, "Let's start vengeance." She then gives them Kango's phone, which sends a virus to all their phones, making them useless. Frustrated and afraid, Ryota tries to confront the masked figure, but she turns and crosses out Kango's name on the board. As they puzzle over this action, the figure briefly leaves the room only to return with Kango bound to a chair and covered in blood. Panicked and shocked, they try to wake Kango up, but the figure takes out another note. "I am going to kill you all." The figure takes out a bat and lunges at them. In the ensuing chaos, the classroom is turned upside down, but everyone manages to escape. The figure gives chase, isolating Takashi, and manages to capture him. In a memory from the past, we see Asuka suggesting a unique idea to her 6 friends. She wants them to perform a modern take on a traditional rat-themed dance at their school's cultural festival. Misato enthusiastically supports the idea, claiming it could be the best memory they create together. Before they graduate, however, not everyone is eager. They voice their excuses, but Ryota steps forward, choosing to support Asuka's plan. Kango and Takashi also come around, deciding to join in. Asuka then unveils a surprise, a mask she crafted for the dance. It's an intimidating rat mask, which she stayed up all night to make. Although it's not to Misato's liking, she appreciates Asuka's effort. Takashi follows suit, pretending to like the mask. He even puts it on and performs a playful dance to lighten the mood. The past fades away, and we're thrust back into the grim reality where the figure in the rat mask is savagely attacking Takashi. Meanwhile, Ryota and Saki hide in a classroom, and Kanako find refuge in a toilet from their hiding place. Ryota and Saki witness Takashi's brutal treatment. In a desperate plea for mercy, Takashi asks if this is all happening because Ryota and Saki are dating. The masked figure doesn't respond verbally, instead presenting a note proposing a deadly game of football, the Hell's One-Shot PK Challenge. If Takashi, who's on the school's football team, but never really played, can save her penalty shot, he gets to live. Despite his fear, Takashi steps up to the challenge. The masked figure kicks the ball, which strikes him in the face and rolls into the goal. As the ball crosses the line, a terrified Takashi pleads for his life, but the masked figure shows no mercy, ending his life with a swing of her bat. The horrifying scene is observed by Ryota and Saki from their hideout, leaving them in tears. While this plays out, Misato finally arrives at the school and makes her way in. Elsewhere, Kanako tries to use her knowledge of the masked figure's timing and movements to escape the school, but her plan backfires when she encounters the figure right outside the door. Retreating is not an option either. The figure's hot on her heels. In the ensuing chase, the figure catches Kanako using a stun gun. Concurrently, Misato enters classroom 3B, finding the names of her friends written down and blood scattered on the ground. A horrifying sight awaits her. Meanwhile, Kanako wakes up bound to a chair wired with explosives. The masked figure coldly slices her legs with a blade, making it clear this is not a joke. Then comes another note with a challenge, the Hell's Perfect Karaoke Challenge. If Kanako can score 100 points in a karaoke contest, she'll be spared. The microphone is set and the masked figure retreats to the listening room, waiting for the next act in this terrifying drama to unfold. In the following scene, we see Misato journeying to the rooftop, the very place where Asuka ended her life. The moment is eerie as the figure in the rat mask appears and begins to recite the story of the 7 rats, which is told as Asuka's diary. The story's told in whispers just behind Misato, where she turns around, however there's no one there. At the same time, we find Kanako refusing to participate in the karaoke challenge, her eyes fixed on the screen. Elsewhere, Ryota equips himself and Saki with makeshift weapons he finds around the school. An old memory resurfaces, showing the group involved in karaoke instead of rehearsing for their dance. Misato and Asuka walk in on this scene, leading to Misato criticizing them for their lack of seriousness. Asuka, with her ever-present smile, reassures them that they have plenty of time to practice the next day. As Ryota and Saki leave in frustration, Kanako questions Asuka about her constant smiling, finding it unsettling. However, Asuka's smile never wavers. Back in the present, Kanako gives into her situation and starts singing karaoke, tears streaming down her face as she sings. The masked figure dances along to the music. The song concludes and Kanako's score of 52 falls drastically short of the required 100 points to save her life. Despite the pleas for mercy, the masked figure delivers a fatal electric shock. In the meantime, Ryota, armed and determined, sets off to confront the masked figure, with Saki following closely. He stumbles upon the figure, and just as this happens, Misato, also shocked to find another mask on the rooftop with her. Ryota addresses the masked figure as though she were Asuka, explaining that he broke up with her because she was too intense for him. At this point, another memory surfaces, this time of Misato, Asuka, Kango, and Ryota hanging out in a park. As Misato and Asuka run off, leaving the boys behind, Asuka showcases her dance moves to Misato. Back with the boys, Ryota admits to Kango that he finds it easier to be with Saki. As this memory fades, Ryota pleads with the masked figure to leave them alone. On the rooftop, Misato confronts the masked figure, challenging the notion that she might really be Asuka. She doesn't believe it like the others. Misato then inquires if this is all about revenge, but the masked figure simply shows her a note from a notebook which reads, "Penalty game for the powerless friend." Misato then tells the figure that she doesn't know much about Asuka and that this is why she's going for revenge. This enrages the masked figure, who then takes out a blade to attack her. Simultaneously and increasingly agitated, Ryota launches an attack on another masked figure. Two fights thus break out at the same time, Misato battling one masked figure and Ryota the other, revealing two people wearing masks in the school. In both fights, Ryota and Misato manage to overpower their enemies. In the heat of the battle, the figure battling Misato loses balance, falling down the stairs and accidentally stabbing herself in the belly. At the same time, Ryota unveils the identity of his defeated opponent. Surprisingly, it turns out to be Kango dressed in a woman's outfit. His narrow frame had made it difficult to differentiate him from a woman. Similarly, it is revealed that the figure Misato fought was Akane, Asuka's older sister. Shocked, Ryota questions why Kango's alive, as he believed he saw him die earlier. Ryota violently demands to know why Kango killed Takashi and Kanako. Kango, however, is overwhelmed with emotion. Crying and attempting to escape Ryoto's grasp, he rallies the last of his strength to push Ryota away and run. Then, a flashback takes us to a French restaurant where Kango and Akane are meeting. There, Akane questions Kango about why he didn't protect Asuka, even though he loved her. Kango responds stating he tried, but in the end, it was all fruitless. He apologizes for what happened to Asuka. Akane then states her intention to avenge Asuka's death and invites Kango to join her or face death himself. The flashback fades and we see Kango, now naked and covered in blood, running for his life. Ryota, donning the rat mask, is in hot pursuit. This chase scene is the movie's opening scene where Kango is seen fleeing from a masked figure. Ultimately, Ryota catches up to him and lands a heavy blow on Kango's head with a bat. On the staircase, Akane is slipping away, her life sinking due to massive blood loss. Misato, full of regret, apologizes to her, but Akane is beyond saving and tragically dies. In a parallel scene, Ryota is mercilessly attacking Kango, who's desperately calling out for help. A flashback then takes us back to the day Asuka took her own life. She confides in Kango, telling him that Ryota, Saki, and even Kanako have asked her to stop smiling all the time. She confesses that her smiles do not always reflect happiness, that sometimes she smiles even when things are tough. She reaches out to hug him, but he does not return the embrace. As the flashback fades, we see Ryota is still aggressively beating Kango. Suddenly, Saki walks in on the scene and, thinking Ryota is the killer, stabs him with a crowbar. In response, Ryota removes his mask, revealing his identity and assures her it is all over. As he weakly crawls towards her, she panics and strikes him in the face with the crowbar before fleeing, her mind filled with confusion over who is who. Then Misato decides to put on the mask just like Ryota, and she encounters a terrified Saki. Saki pleads with her to stop, still believing the person behind the mask is Asuka's spirit. Another flashback shows Saki tossing the mask that Asuka had made into the trash just as Asuka and Misato walk in. Saki laughs about their unfortunate timing and mocks the festival and dance preparations as an annoying hassle. Unfazed, Asuka just smiles her usual smile and apologizes. Frustrated, Saki kicks the trash can and criticizes Asuka for her constant smiling. However, the mask tumbles out of the trash and Asuka tenderly picks it up. As the memory fades, we see Misato donning the mask, confronting Saki. She questions Saki about why she stole her friend's boyfriend. In this moment, Saki finally realizes the masked figure is neither Asuka nor a ghost, but someone playing a dangerous game with them. Saki pleads with the figure to stop seeking revenge through murder and to move on. But Misato accuses her of being the one who destroyed their friendship. Realizing a violent confrontation is imminent, Saki readies her crowbar. A fierce fight ensues between Misato and Saki. They struggle for control, but Saki gradually gains the upper hand, relentlessly attacking Misato. Their battle brings them to the rooftop where Saki attempts to rip off Misato's mask with her crowbar. In response, Misato grabs a nearby bucket of flowers, swinging it at Saki's head. With Saki dazed, Misato seizes an axe, ending Saki's life with a haunting reminder that all they wanted was to dance together. Meanwhile, a wounded Ryoto staggers out of the school heading towards his scooter. He calls out for Saki, telling her he's leaving. As he starts the engine, the scooter erupts in a deadly explosion, taking his life. Misato stumbles upon Kango's lifeless body as she descends from the rooftop. A flashback then unfolds, showing Misato coming upon Asuka and Kango in a heartfelt embrace on a rooftop. Then we see Misato reading the last pages of Asuka's diary after her suicide, where Asuka apologizes to everyone, blaming herself for their misfortunes, including their forced participation in the dance. Misato, moved by her words, tears out of this page, vowing it will remain a secret shared only between her and Asuka. Returning from the flashback, we see a classroom with everyone's name crossed out on the board except Misato's. As the movie comes to its close, Misato departs from the school, sitting down on the steps just as emergency vehicles arrive. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.